Okay, we begin.
Steve, welcome and thank you for coming on the Overlap Breakdown. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. And yeah, today we're going to speak about everything in your career, what you've done, the size of your CV, some of the best stuff you've done. And yeah, we just had a little warm-up chat just to get started. But I really wanted to ask you, I was thinking about last night what the best way to open this up with was. And I really wanted to say to you, when you start coaching, what did you want to gain from that? Why did you do it?
It's a great question. I fell into it accidentally. I'd been doing my coaching badges while I was playing. What I was thinking about when I stopped playing was something down the business line. And I'd done my coaching, but never expected to get an opportunity. And all of a sudden I got injured. The manager at the time, I think it was Brian Horton, said, look, youth team, reserve team, they've got no coach at the moment. While you're injured, do you want to coach the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. So, I remember one Saturday, first Saturday, we're playing Crystal Palace, 7 o'clock. I'm in a 16-seater van. I've got a physio volunteer who's driving the van, and I'm at the front, and I've got 16 kids behind me. And I'm going around the M25 to Crystal Palace. Puncture on the M25. Pull over. Kids go, good job the lad knew how to change a tyre. So he changed the tyre, got it back, got around Crystal Palace, got prepared for the game. First half, I remember it to this day. First half 0-0, poor game. And we had a left winger, rapid, really quick, Chrissy Allen. And that was Oxford, obviously, Chrissy Allen. And he was rapid, but he kept trying to do little tricks and things. So I said after, Chris, look, keep it simple, son. As soon as you get it, just knock it. No one's quicker than you. I said, and then cross it. That's all you got to do. Oh, when the ball's on the other side and he crosses it, you'll be at the back post and score a goal. That's your job, okay? Mm. So just after half time, he gets the ball, no dribble, just knocks the ball down the line. He was so quick. Left foot cross, right winger, far post, goal, 1-1 or 1-0. They equalised. Minute to go, right winger, cross the ball, far post, Chrissy Allen's there, taps it in. We win 2-1. And that was it. That was the moment.
You got the click.
That was the moment. You'll know it as
a
coach yourself. You all of a sudden you go, this is it. Gosh, I like that. What I just like the camaraderie of the team, being in charge of that, giving advice to somebody. They're taking it on board and making them a better player. And the thrill then of that going into winning was the ultimate.
Yeah.
Because as a player, every Saturday you win or lose or draw. Yeah, elated, disappointed, whatever. So you've always got that up and down, and coaching was the same. So it gave me the same kind of buzz and feeling. And what I've always been is a learner. Mm. So even I do all my badges, I did business courses. So I wanted to learn about everything. So I thought, wow, this is a new subject. I can learn. And the key for me was I could experiment. So just down the road was Swindon.
Yeah.
Swindon town. So if we played in the morning and Oxford were away, couldn't see the game, I used to hop in the car and go and watch Swindon. So the Swindon manager, the first time, was Ossie Ardiles. He'd gone from Spurs to Swindon and was player manager. So he played. And he played, and I couldn't, what format, everybody played 4-4-2.
Yeah. Mm.
And I'd go down and watch Swindon, Ossie Ardiles. He's playing 4-4-2, but it's a diamond in midfield.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wow.
What's this?
What is this?
Yeah.
And he played at the diamond. He played at the base of it. So he was here,
Yeah.
And he was magnificent. He had the ball all day, no one kind of match. So it's 4-4-2, and in them days he was the free man.
Yeah.
So he just ran the show, and I went and studied that.
Yeah.
And my youth team played it, and so I experimented with that. Then the following year he left, and Glenn Hoddle came in, and Glenn Hoddle was player manager as well. And Glenn Hoddle played 3 at the back.
Something else you've never seen before.
Two controllers, a 10, and 2 strikers, and 2 wing backs, like that. And he played sweeper.
Yeah, middle.
He played middle.
Yeah.
Now you can imagine him. He couldn't defend.
No, on the ball.
But in terms of, it was the first time I'd seen anybody play possession football, build up from the back, outnumber in midfield. He used to step forward, and these used to be inside left, inside right, and he used to play diagonals all day. And he was free as a bird, no one marked him.
Yeah, no one thought to mark him.
That's right. And so therefore there I went back with my youth team, right?
We're doing this.
A sweeper or a midfield player drop. And, you know, we'd play 4-4-2, but we'd try and get him to drop back in to make that 3.
Yeah.
So for me, it was
the
I was
learning.
just intrigued. Yeah,
the learning.
I was just intrigued, and I tried that, and I took over, I think, for Oxford in between managers, a couple of games, and I played the diamond as well. Didn't quite work out as well as I thought, but I couldn't implement it. But
Didn't have Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I couldn't play, so you know, I was just. It was just such an education. I had Morris mentoring me, you know, and Morris was, you know, wouldn't do that, Steve, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I did.
Stick to what you know.
Somebody took a corner and I'm shouting, play it short. And the guy plays it short, and Morris would always come by me and say, you know what, Steve? We will never know if he was going to play it short or not. and it was such a thing of, wow, you're right. Give the players a bit of freedom.
Yeah.
And could he see it? So did he have that intelligence to see it? And that's, I used to be up and down that line shouting instructions all day, and he used to calm me down and, hey, sit down.
Yeah.
You know?
Joe, you talk about stuff like that. We did like over the Christmas period, we looked back on the Jose Mourinho team in 04-05, and they played the diamond, and that was seen as revolutionary then, because obviously people were still playing 4-4-2. You had 4 in there. Talked about Makalele playing on a different line, couldn't get anywhere near him. And obviously you've just gone on to speak about improvisation, and we were talking before, like, too much information. Do you think when you was at Oxford and Derby, the way you were talking about Oxford then in terms of having a management of the whole stuff, the apprenticeships, obviously the youth team, the reserves, the first team, do you think that's why obviously you've gone on to later, you know, work at a club like Manchester United, and when you've been told just keep doing what you were doing at them clubs, do you reckon that's why, because you had such a overcasting view of the club, you had your fingers in all the pies basically?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that education that I got, when I think about it, and you're triggering things in my mind now, but when I went to Derby, I got the opportunity to work with Jim Smith. Unbelievable, you know, and just like Morris, wise old Al, but taught me so many things, especially about my management. But we played 4-4-2, the usual 4-4-2. Planned, and we had one kind of striker in there and one and everything like that. And so we were basic like that. And we never won a game. And we would get hammered. And I remember Jim and everything. And we signed a Croatian, Igor Stimac, who big kind of centre-half midfield player, but really imposing. We went to Tranmere, I remember it to this day. Went to Tranmere, we got beat 5-1, and we played him as a midfield player. And we played him there as a midfield player. And he was all right. And he actually scored the goal. And what his goal was, he picked the ball up from deep and went all the way through midfield, playing little combinations. and shot and scored. We got beat 5-1. He scored the 1 goal. So we've got to do something now because
we've seen that.
So what's his best position? So it was a little bit about actually in putting players into a system. It was about, okay, how are we going to get the best out of each player? So, round pegs, round holes, square pegs, square holes. A lot of debate, especially, with Amarin and what's happened since and what happened before, and other clubs.
Yeah.
So we had a deep search and looked at our players and went, okay, we've got this, we've got fullbacks who are attacking, we've got midfield players who've got legs, and we've got a 10, and we're leaving a decent striker on the bench. Okay, what are we going to do? And I said, he's a centre back.
Step out, run with it.
He's a sweeper. It was the king when he entered the field. He was like, give me the ball. So we make him the focal point of things. We got 2 good defenders who were man markers, 2 attacking fullbacks who were very good. I think Chrissy Powell and Larson. We had midfield players, Darryl Powell, Lee Carsley, and we had a 10 from Holland, and eventually we had like a 1 chop and a Sturridge up front. And so I looked and I went, and I didn't say anything to him. And I remember going out on a Thursday, and we had a 11-11. And I just said, we're playing that. Not much instruction or anything. We're just playing that 11-11, have a look. And we played it. And it's another one I remember to this day on the training field. Oh my God, I went.
We've done it.
We've done it. We've done it. And we had that session, and everyone was comfortable in their positions, and especially Igor dominated. And I remember going back in the office, and Jim hadn't come out training, and he'd come in so excited. I said, I found it.
It's like a light bulb moment.
Light bulb moment. Yeah. I've got it. And I said, 3, 5, 2. You're crazy, Steve. No, honestly, got it. And we tried it the next day a little bit in training, and we stuck to it. And we went 22 games unbeaten, and went from the bottom of the league to the top of the league, purely on that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even coach it. I just
molded around the players.
It just went. And I've often had that, like not many times, a light bulb moment, or thought, you don't instruct, just throw them a ball and see if it works. Because I always remember from Pep Guardiola, and he calls it something, and something effect. Anyway, basically, it's, when you start a football match, and you'll go, oh my word, they're killing us. It's not working.
Yeah.
What we've worked, it's just not working. And you, as a coach, we've got to change something. We've got to change it. And he said this effect is, if you just leave it and get over the hump, the players will grow into it and adapt and realise, and you give them that to do that. And I've always believed in that since doing it at Derby. And then I saw it at my first game, Man U, as assistant.
Yeah.
Notts Forest.
Yeah.
Notts Forest started the game 100 miles an hour, and I was going, we can't pass.
Can't keep up.
We can't keep the ball. We keep losing possession. And I remember turning to Jim Ryan and going to change anything, Jim. We're getting killed. They're running all over us, pitching the ball, transitions. And he just tapped me on the knee and says, we wait.
Yeah.
And he said, and then all of a sudden we beat the press. We had a chance, And then we beat the press again, we had a chance. We beat it again and we scored a goal, one each. And we beat it again, scored again, beat it again, scored again. Game ended up 8-1. But the first 20 minutes, if you'd have said to me that game's going to be 8-1, I'd have said, you're on another planet.
If you're enjoying the video and want more tactical analysis and podcasts, please press the subscribe button below and hit the bell to enable post notifications. I want to move on now, obviously, from Oxford and Derby to Manchester United in 1999. And I think the thing that I would always love to get from someone who's worked in that high of a level, the individuals, is there a moment where you just walk in and, let's say it's your first training session, you walk out and you see David Beckham, for example, and you go, oh, Christ, this is the level. Was the one player, one moment where you thought this is almost the pinnacle of the quality?
I think it was. Obviously, it was very nerve-wracking going in, and Steve McClaren, who's he, our new coach. And what I always found the players at every level really, but especially at that level, oh my word, they killed you every day.
Cold shoulder.
Yeah, they killed you every day. So if a disc was out of the line, if you hadn't put the bib out, or if you're a bit short of this, if you bumbled a bit, they killed you. Yeah. Killed you. And I got to be. So I over-prepare for everything. And every session I over-prepared. So I was up until 2 or 3 in the morning, visualising it, making sure I got it right. I was out at 9 o'clock, putting everything out. It was like an airport, with everything going in, boxes, warm up, jump, going through it, being right, if anything goes. But I think from the first moment, the main thing, we used to have boxes, and they were famous. Yeah. Manchester United, don't lose the boxes. Old and young, I think, a box. And I used to join in at the time, and we used to do them at Derby. But going in that box for the first time and being in it, oh my God, the quality, the speed, the competitiveness, the arguing, the wow, and controlling that. So I don't know. I was, because of, you've just got to go in and you just got to have belief in it and try and just develop. And I always remember, Alex telling me, Sir Alex, I said, what do you want me to coach? He said, what did you do at Derby? I said, well, I did. He said, whatever you did at Derby, that's why you're here. So just go out there and do that. And that gave me a little bit more confidence and belief in myself that I wasn't under instructions to do anything. I more or less, that was my picture. That was my blank screen. I can fill it how I want. Yeah. And there were certain things that he required. He required intensity. He required discipline. He required standards. He required quality. He required the boxes. Yeah. He required possession sessions and small competitive games, and structured practice in terms of, and he only ever really instructed me to do something maybe once or twice, and that was, and I heard Rennie talking about it as well, Mullenstein, play forward, run forward.
Think forward.
Think forward. It's a forward passing, forward running game, football. Think that. And when we stopped doing that and playing sideways too much and going, I remember one player, he ran across the field with the ball, Old Trafford, I remember it, and then he turned, and he's one of them that ran the other side as well. That was about half time he came off. He said, I don't want square, no. Forward. So everything had to be positive and forward. And basically, after the first game, 8-1, what do? I focused on the one. So I focused on the defenders. And with the defenders, we introduced things like Pro Zone, where they got the...
running stuff.
they got not just running, but also tactical, so they, would follow lines, how close they were to each other, how they were squeezed up, compact with the team or not. And they were fascinated by that. The forwards?
Nah.
No. Steve, don't show me anything like that. But the defenders were really intrigued, and Gary especially. So I thought, I'll do that. So it was quite simple to coach, and I think that's the key, which I say to everyone, simplicity is key. Don't complicate it. And all we did was that back four, and maybe, we'd rotate with Butt, Keane, Scholes, Butt, whoever was sent. So 4 and a 2 we'd have, and we'd have our front 8 or even 10 against 6. And just throw them the ball.
Yeah.
Just get on with it. And I used to say to these back 4 players and the midfield, I said, Saturday will be easy after you've done this.
The training session.
Yeah. Because Dennis against Beckham all the time. Gary against Giggs. The midfield, whoever was always rotating. You've got York and Cole up there, and then we used to swap it, and Sheringham and Solskjaer.
It's the quality, isn't it?
The quality. So on Saturday, you're not going to get this quality. So we did a lot of work in terms of that, in terms of defending, and we gave freedom to the forward players, and didn't hamper what they did. And I always remember, with 10 games to go, and that first season I joined, he did say to me, Steve, 10 games to go, focus on clean sheets.
Yeah.
I want clean sheets, because clean sheets wins championships. And I always remember that. So basically it was quite, the key was, and it always has been and always will be, training's got to be a certain standard, it's got to be disciplined, but it's got to be competition.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you speak to many of the players, and we've just done the Scholes podcast and talking about Friday morning games, all v young.
Yeah.
Kicked lumps out of each other. It was so competitive, but they took that into the game.
When you talk about them 10 games left, was there an air of like we're good enough to win the lot here, in terms of the stuff you were seeing every week? And I mean, you just said the training sessions then. Obviously, Europe was a different beast at that time, and I think there was certain stuff in Europe that maybe was adapted when you went into the Champions League. But was there a sense of, at what point did you start to go, this is on? Was it that 10-game mark?
The key to it was the semi-final.
Yeah.
Against Arsenal at Villa Park, second leg, and the famous Giggs goal, penalty save, Keane sending off, and you end up winning.
How?
And many times you go, and whatever, the football gods are the football gods, and they'll have you.
Yeah, they'll come back to get you.
They will have you.
Yeah.
So you do something wrong 6 months ago, they'll come and get you.
They're on your side that day.
But you do know that, oh my God, the football gods are with us. And after that game, going in the dressing room, after that, walking in, there was feeling amongst the players, we can win the lot. And that's when they probably started thinking that way and talking that way, and that ramped actually the pressure up.
Joe, when you were talking before, when you was at Oxford and Derby, and we're talking about players are your tactics basically, so you're adapting around your players and you're giving the freedom. Was there a moment where you've gone into Manchester United, there's this much quality, and it's almost right there in front of you what everyone can do? Was there? It's just two midfielders who can run and pass it, one up, one down, one full back up, one down, energy down the wings, crosses from wide, two strikers runs in behind. Was it that clear for you when you went in, or was there stuff that you had to tweak around to make it click at certain moments?
Yeah, it's a great question, because obviously I'd come from Derby and we'd played a 5-3-2. and then we're playing Manchester United, and it's a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
And it's just so simple.
At the time,
it was just so simple. Everybody knew the jobs, and I think it was a lot of it was combinations. A lot of it was combinations. So Gary with Bex, Dennis with Giggsy, like telepathic. Keane and Scholes, telepathic,
Yeah.
Yap and Ronnie Johnson, just telepathic. York and Cole. So everything was about combinations. So we were, our stats, and my stats when I've moved on is, can you get me, tell me what the best, if you're an analyst, tell me what the best combination of centre backs. Yeah. Tell me who keeps the most clean sheets, concedes the least goals, or shots against, or things like that. So tell me, the combination. So I would say the back four. What's the best back four so far? What's the best midfield? What's won the most games, and when have we won the most games with what strikers?
Yeah.
And funny, and you work that out, and this is where stats came into it. And you're going, it's a combination I never thought of. But it works. So it might not look good, but it works. It's like having say Varane in the when I first went to Manchester United the second time, having the likes of Varane and wanting Varane to as we had midfield players, to play higher up and to step in and go in on the opposite number 10 or something like that. And it was uncomfortable because he was always a defender.
Yeah, a proper man's defender.
Yeah. And when he played like that, we had more clean sheets.
Yeah. Well, when we sat in, it was easier because he could head everything, block everything. Yeah.
And everything that went in. And it was so. It's adapting to that. So it was simple, and it always. The point is with the gaffer being there so many years, you talk about structure, philosophy, principles, they were there. They were in stone. So anyone who came in knew exactly what their job was.
Their education was already.
It was there. This is Manchester United, and it was from the gaffer that, what is it?
Yeah.
Play forward. It's a forward-thinking game, forward running, forward passing, think forward all the time. And now I look back at some of the games and, Schmeichel, we didn't play out. We hit the front two. We picked up second balls. We crossed from anywhere and we had players in the box. We always had 3 in the box. So therefore you always had a chance. When it came out, our counter press was so good that sometimes we did that to get the counter press.
Oh, so punt it long and chase it, almost like a rugby punt, like up the pitch and follow it up.
But we would have a lot of, attacks down here, attacks in there, and Giggs in, and Beckham's out there, and Gary's there, and you've got people coming in, centre backs on rest defence. You've got Keane and Scholes would probably go. You've got 3 in the box in terms of that. And what we used to love was just cross. Just cross.
Yeah.
They clear it, but we'd pick up the ball in here. And then the defenders, they would be disorganised. They would be disorganised when they come out, and they'd be trying to press in the fact of as they came out, little gaps opened up. And so Scholes or Keane would pick the ball up, or we'd pick the ball up and to just go bump into him, turn and finish, or if he was in, bump into him, 1-2 and finish.
Yeah.
So I used to say our strength was we score from crosses.
Combinations.
And then combinations. So first phase, second phase, attacks. So constantly, in most teams, it's a first phase, second phase, third phase if you can. With Manchester United, it was first phase, second phase,
back to
third
first.
phase, second, fourth. It was more phases dominating this area in here. So we did a lot of work with the players, front players, in terms of, yes, defending, but then second phase, winning the ball.
Yeah.
And we scored quite a few goals from second phase because the defenders come out and they're not together. Where as we go wide, they're together.
Yeah.
Ball gets cleared, they're out, they're a little scrappy.
Well, you see, you're creating disorganisation, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's controlled chaos in many ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that for me does get on my nerves a little bit, because when people do say stuff like it's not coached because it's not player stood here, player stood there, it's obvious like there's so much coaching that goes into, as you say, the first phase, the second phase. Even as a Manchester United fan, I think the Jurgen Klopp teams, the Liverpool Jurgen Klopp teams, they had similar ideas in terms of fullbacks, high, wide crossing, very high regains, turning loose balls into chances. I think he actually has a quote that's saying pressing is the best playmaker. And it's so true. United never played with a traditional playmaker, but their playmaker was the intensity, energy, the running, the chaos and the disorganisation. And I think watching you do that's brilliant, because it just puts it into perspective of when you see them knockdowns, when you see them loose balls around the box, you think of all the goals that Scholes scored from outside the box from second phases and stuff. And yeah, it really does put it into reality. And I think, yeah. What was the biggest change from Premier League to Europe? Was there something that you looked at in Europe that was vastly different, a vastly different beast at that time?
I think probably we played one game, and I can't remember what it was, and I think we drew 1-1 at home at Old Trafford. I think it might have been Inter Milan. And after the game, we had a meeting in the hotel. And he was quite open, and I think we're getting a lot of criticism for playing 4-4-2 against European teams who are playing 4-3, 4-3-3, diamond, whatever, or different systems. And he was just so passionate in his talk to the players and quite emotional about. This is Manchester United.
Yeah.
These are our principles. We play forward, we pass forward, we run forward, we think forward all the time. And if that means playing 4-2-4, 4-4-2, we will play that. We will play that because that's Manchester United. I went, oh, wow, that's powerful. And he stuck with it all the way. And quite intriguing when, and whatever, the cup, Bayern Munich game, European Cup final, they played, three at the back. They played three at the back. The wingers, two wing backs onto there, didn't they? And then they'd move. Then they'd have Effenberg and
Effenberg, some player to be fair,
and Basler and somebody there, and it was really unusual in the fact of we were, our Yorkie and Cole, Beckham and Butt, Jesper and Giggs. That's right, 4-2, yeah. Schmeichel, obviously, that side. And that's how they played. And it was coming across something like this, which we'd never come across, and we really struggled. So we wanted to dominate wide areas all the time, in terms of wide areas. But they had wing backs who just marked.
Yeah, they got wing backs and they got the central. Because it got free in there.
Well, you look at it, and I hadn't realised, but I think Basler and I can't remember who it was on this side came inside, so they weren't real wingers, and so it's a 3-4-3.
Yeah, but they've got so much in there as well.
But what's the most common system?
Yeah,
in terms of modern day football.
Yeah,
we've done it and we adapt to it because, all right, we'll play 4-4-2 because we think. In build-up, basically, if we start with 4-4-2, in build-up, I always say, play 3, 4, and 2 with the box. But Bayern Munich were doing it way back then. But the only difference was they were man markers.
Yeah.
They were man markers, these two. So Cole and York were man marked. Mateus was the sweeper. Yeah, so he was a free man.
Yeah.
They were man marking. They were man marking. And so we thought we dominate in the wide areas with a fullback and a wide player, 2v1.
2v1, yeah.
And we dominate with a wide player. So these actually never marked them and them.
No.
So they played inside and inside. And these were on the boy Yanker, who was a big target and had to be marked.
Yeah.
So it was the +1 at the back, don't leave him one-on-one. But the point is, these two, and it was so unique to us then, that they were creating a box in midfield.
Yeah.
So one, they were reluctant to go. If they did go, whenever they won the ball, they were on transition.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you look at it like that, and if they're narrow, these are 3v2 almost, because they're not going with the fullback, which is.
And when you look at the game, and especially the second half, when we needed a goal and these went forward, they transitioned in them areas. Yeah. So they didn't follow them back. And these two, Effenberg was sublime, wasn't he? In the field in terms of, so they had that. So basically it was a cat and mouse game. And I looked at the game and I thought that we didn't dominate. They dominated second balls in here. Yeah. So we had to play more direct. They won every second ball in here. So they transitioned all day, hit the bar, hit the post.
Yeah, hit the bar and the post, yeah.
Effenberg had a great chance to kill us off. But, we got better when actually Solskjaer and Sheringham came back on, because Sheringham was better in the air and got flick-ons, and we won more second ball. And York was on the right-hand side, but he was in here. So therefore we won more second balls. And we added pressure to that. But when you look at that...
It's hard to look at, isn't it?
And how Manchester United played in them 4-4-2. But you look at the modern day, and now everybody, and we do it even when we play 4-4-2, we build up with 3. We have 2 controllers and 2 10s and width in the wide areas. However you get that. Yeah. That might be a inverted
can start in a
fullback.
4-4-2, but it goes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, inverted fullbacks on a 10, they stay there. Whatever, it's a 3-4-3, build up, outnumber, get the box in midfield.
Yeah.
And that's changed. And funny enough, the 4-4-2 still remains as the best defensive pressing
they
system.
use it all off the ball, don't they? Like everyone uses it off the ball.
Yeah. I always remember I struggled, I was thinking, against these top teams when I went to Middlesbrough, and not so much Middlesbrough, but further on when he was out of the game, the gaffer, I said, God, this team's going to dominate possession. How do you stop a team dominating possession? He says, put 2 up, stop the centre-backs playing.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
That's why the 4-4-2 works. And you get so, we had wingers who were really wide, and never tucked in. Now we get wingers that tuck in.
Yeah, always inside.
So we've progressed, but it's still the same.
Still the same. Same but different.
Same but different. So in Middlesbrough, I used to think, right, we're in Europe.
Yeah.
I've got to play 4-3-3 because Europe, you've got to play 3 midfield players. And we were okay. But I had Hasselbank, Viduka, I had Yakubu, and I was playing 4-3-3, and either Viduka.
You had 4 strikers on the pitch at one point, didn't you? In the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, in the UEFA. But to start with, I only had 1. So Viduka was either dropped, or Yakubu was dropped, and I couldn't. Jimmy would kill me if I dropped it. And you know what I did in Europe? I was going, it's nice in this, but it's not real. And one game we tried it. We played 4-4-2, and we put Viduka and Hasselbank up front, and we played a little bit more direct.
Yeah.
While we killed everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
We killed everybody.
That Middlesbrough run, like I've got it here. RZ against Louis van Gaal.
Yeah.
Won that game. Didn't concede a single goal in the group stage.
Defence is key.
Yep. Coached in a win over AS Roma. Luciano Spalletti was the manager. He's now Juventus manager. Come back from 3-0 down in the quarter-final and semi-final. It's a remarkable run.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and it just shows you adapt, and you adapt to the players. We were needed goals, obviously, in them 2 games, and we'd be as a staff, and Steve Round was one of the assistants. And he said around, we need 3 goals. You know, what we're going to do? Well, just put Yakubu there, just put Morrison right back and Down in left back, and put another right winger on there, Macaroni, who's a striker. So we'd have Macaroni, Viduka, Hasselbank, Yakubu, Downing, Morrison, 2 centre backs, and a Boateng and a Zenden, and we played that when we needed 3 goals, and it was.
Was you a gambler as a coach? Because I love coaches who chuck the kitchen sink. Obviously, it's what I grew up on. Because I think I always prefer. It's a cliche, and you prefer to go for it and lose rather than not.
Yeah, I was and I wasn't, and I've had periods where I am and I'm not. But I think that's working with the gaffer. He's a risk taker. He's gambling many times. He did similar, to win games, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and you just have to accept the consequences, and that's management. But you have to. So one aspect of the success at Middlesbrough was risk taking, was being bold,
going for it.
Yeah, and the bolder you are, it's amazing, and we're talking the other day about young players and that Dowman, coming on and being blooded at 16, and what the gaffer did with his youth. And, I think at Middlesbrough, we had a team that averaged about 17, 18 years old against Fulham. It's about being bold, and it's difficult sometimes as managers, but that's what you've got to do. And when you do it, it does generally work out. Is
that one of your key things when you look at, if you describe your management style, would you say being bold, being brave is one of them?
I would say I want good players.
Yeah, always.
I want good players. And, good players are difficult to manage, to handle. But I like them because they win your football matches. We had many, just at Manchester United, but we had them at Middlesbrough, and then, and so I like I'm bold on them signings. Let's bring Janino back. We'll sign Hasselbank. We'll sign. We had Boksic when I first went there. Sensational goal scorer, but as for the team, not so much. So being bold in terms of he's done his job, he's got to go, and somebody else has got to come in. And being bold and putting 2 up. I think you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, and that's probably why management is such a roller coaster. It's a journey with no real destination.
Yeah.
No,
you couldn't be under threat at any point, even if you win the treble.
Exactly. So it's a journey, and you've got to go and to go for it. You've got to damn good players. The better players you've got, and you put them in the right positions.
Give them the right information.
And you give them the right information. You set standards, and you discipline, and you're consistent in that. And you've got good staff around you. You've got a patient owner. You're going to be successful.
Yeah. I wanted to say, Middlesbrough leading the club to their first major trophy, obviously the League Cup in 2004, their highest ever Premier League finish in 04-05, UEFA Cup final run obviously in 2006. Is that one you look back on that you think was one of your best stints?
I think it was an education in building a team over 5 years. And when I look at the structure of football now,
Yeah.
You probably get 5 months.
Yeah.
Well, initially, sorry, 5 weeks initially, and you can change. But it just shows. And when I went in at Middlesbrough and I looked, and we had about, I remember 42 pros. I'm going, oh my God. Finished, I think, 4th bottom.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, there's some characters in here as well. And then I looked at the academy, there's 15 boys, and we took them. I went, oh my God. And I remember first week saying to the staff, oh, this is going to be hard, but if we're patient, the future is bright, because there's some good youngsters here. So it was just getting through that period. And we only got through that period purely through Steve Gibson, being patient, understanding, making signings that, you know, you think were absolutely ridiculous. You know, we're signing Southgate, we're signing Mendietas, Zenders, Boateng's, Vidukas. But we built it. We brought Juninho back.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we're building it over, and the first 2 years were, the first 4 games I didn't win. Pointless, clueless. The first 2 years, we finished well first year, got cup semi-final, but the next year we were disappointed and everyone's going, like that. But little did they know the third year was the breakthrough, and we developed and bought better players and more players, and Juninho back. So being bold and taking risks. But that's also down to the owner as well, and the understanding and having the time. I could have been sacked 4 or 5 times in the first 2 years, even 2.5 years of that. Easy. And I would have sometimes sacked myself for some of the things that I did. But he got the staff up when I think we're all going to get sacked, and there'd be pints on the table and we'd have a drink with him. You know, people throwing season tickets at you. You know, my last year, my 5th year, you know. But just getting through that, and, you know, 3 months later, you're in the UEFA Cup final and it's Cup semi-final. So patience by that. You're not going to get that.
No.
And
you're not going to get it anymore, are you?
No, and I wish owners would do it. And you try and fast track it, you've got no chance.
No.
You've got no chance. You can't sign everybody in one window, and it's going to change. You know, what you need is, you know, if you go in a really good squad, you're lucky. But majority are going in with bad ones and just need lifting. So you need instant impact. But ownership's not going to give you them years that we had in the past to build and develop, like the gaffer had and I had at Middlesbrough. So that's why it was 5 years, purely because of the owner's patience.
Yeah, and you got to thank them for that. And obviously, so as you said, it's a roller coaster. It's so up and down now. You don't get any time really, especially to build something. If you go in as a project manager, as a project coach.
What project?
Yeah, there's no project.
There's no such word as project.
Do you look at managers like, I mean, what Arsenal have done with Mikel Arteta? Do you look at that and go, that is what it looks like?
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example of, and I think, you know, money in the bank.
Yeah, of course.
Won the cup in the first year. That gives you, you know, and I had that semi-final first year. That kept me the second year. You know, second year was a bit of a disaster. I don't know. I stayed the third year, and then we won the cup. So it went on from that. It's just, you know, when you're thinking it's a disaster, you just get over the hump and you go again. And that's you know, that's football, but it's difficult now. You've got to have instant impact and don't think of project or how we're going to win now. You know, let everybody else plan for the future. Yeah.
What was obviously it's a massive opportunity. How did the England move come about?
I think I was involved with England for 4 or 5 years with Sven.
Yeah.
So I'd been to 3 tournaments.
Yeah.
2 World Cups, Euros in Portugal. I knew the players. I was at Man United. You know, I think. Sorry, was at Man? I'm managing Middlesbrough, so I was a manager then. So I think I was just right place, right time.
Yeah. Was there anything? Obviously, it's your first international major job. What was the biggest difference that maybe people don't understand about how tough jobs like that are in comparison to club football, or is it that different?
I don't think it's that different. The intensity is, instead of a town, it's a nation.
Yeah. The pressure.
So the pressure of the media in that period is enormous. But the key thing is, it's for me. I was a day-to-day.
Yeah.
I was with players. I was week to week. Doing Middlesbrough, doing England, and all that prep. And then all of a sudden it dies down, and then you got more time to think, scrutinise. Media is difficult, but everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks it's a tough job because of the media, because of the days in between, and you just
in
go
between
to watch.
camps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think I'd like that. I think because it's such spaced out, you don't really get any momentum, really.
No, I now just doing Jamaica and coming back from Jamaica, I loved it.
Yeah.
The rhythm of that was really intense for 2-3 weeks, and then plan. But then I was young and
want to do it every day.
I want to do it every day. I want to be with the players every day and do that. And I couldn't do that, and ultimately, everything is everything. That's noise off the pitch, the media, the pressure, and everything. What happens on here is the most important.
Yeah,
that's it. So for me, when I talk to any owner or anything, don't worry about the marketing. Don't worry about commercial. Don't worry about anything like that.
Let me coach.
That's it. That's it. The most important people are them players there and the coach and his staff on the side, or the coach on the side. That's it.
Yeah.
You've got to get your product right. And do people understand that? Don't know. So he's just said, look, will it make the boat go faster?
Yeah.
If it does, we will do it. So we want all suggestions. Will it make it go faster? If it does, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Will it make the product better? If it does, we'll try and do it. All right. So that's it. So that was always the thing with England, was getting it right on the field and the balance. And we couldn't get it right at all.
Well,
certain things.
No one really could. Around that
No,
period.
I think Southgate has led the way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Has
very
led the way.
underrated. I don't think he's underrated anymore. I think people have now started to realise the culture that he built there and how likeable England was to watch as a nation. There was no sort of boundaries between each player. It looks like a proper group that all really get along with each other. And it's amazing to follow your country now.
Yeah.
Because they're so
Different.
together.
Yeah.
So together.
Yeah, and I've just done a documentary on England, and I'm not too sure in that golden generation era what they say.
No?
I don't think the players we enjoyed it.
Oh, right, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we, even Jamaica, we come together. Oh my God, the players get on like a house on fire. It's really tight knit, and it's a great vibe and everything. We never had that in England. It's quiet, and that wasn't the rivalry. That was just purely playing for England, and the pressure and the media, and also finding a structure in which we can win.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good players of golden generation that, I think what Southgate did was he got the core of players and they stuck together, and they all knew the role, they all knew their position. It was built around Kane, and from that we go to that and that and that, and the players accepted the role, and the balance was far better. Whereas we had how could you drop Beckham? How could you drop Lampard? How could you drop Gerrard, Owen, Rooney?
Is that the search for the balance though?
Yeah.
Is it simply just because, well, I mean, the Galacticos are the best example of it. There's too much quality sometimes.
Yeah, you will win games.
Yeah.
And you will win tournaments on that if you get the luck.
Yeah.
And you avoid injuries. We didn't get that in any of the 3 tournaments that I was involved in. Always had an injury to Owen, always had an injury to Rooney, always sending off, always an injury to Beckham. 1 or 2 of them were always in, and they were vital.
They were the glue, they were the cane.
Yeah, they were your cane. They were the missing piece of the jigsaw, especially Owen and Rooney together.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I've spoken to several of the players, and they said, you know, it wasn't a dislike. It was just could never find the balance. You know, people saying, well, we should put Owen Hargreaves in that 6th position. Okay, great.
But who's coming out?
And I went in a taxi once in London, and he said, oh, you're picking the wrong team, Steve. You're picking the wrong team. I said, go on, pick your team. Pick your team. And he picked the team, and I said, that will win the World Cup. And he smiled, and he went, you think so? I said, absolutely certain. You've got 12 players.
He's playing the 4-4-3.
Yeah. And I went, and he went, oh, God, I have, haven't I? I said, go on then, who would you take out? I'd take him out. What, you take him out? And then that leaves, oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. Well, and we're about 10 minutes on the journey.
Now he understands what it's
and
like.
And he went, oh, tough job.
Yeah, the hard job, that. If you're enjoying the video and want more tactical analysis and podcasts, please press the subscribe button below and hit the bell to enable post notifications. Talking about a bounce back, FC Twente, the first team, well, the last team to have won the league that isn't the big 3, PSV, Feyenoord, Ajax, in 09-10. Since then, no one else outside the big 3 has won it. And what was that like, going to the Netherlands and coaching there? Was there vast differences? Was it
massive?
It was very frowned upon then, wasn't it? I mean, no one really.
No, they say when I was there that I was 100 Dutch coaches working around the world at that time, and I think they said there was 2 from England. From England, who were working abroad.
Yeah.
No, I always say, for me as a coach, going to Manchester United was like going to finishing school. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate.
Yeah.
How to win at the elite level. Going to Holland was the finishing school of football in terms of education, tactics, solving problems, because you had to keep possession, you had to solve problems, you had to press, counter. So it was a new language and different football. And I was fortunate that Erik was my assistant the first year, because he ran everything. So they, similar to United, for years had a structure, principles, a way of playing that they believed in and drummed in from the first team all the way down, and bought players to fit that.
Yeah.
So, we play 4 at the back, 1 dominant centre-back, 1 who could come out and play, 2 full-backs, 1 who always got forward, was great going forward, the other one was more defensive and tuck in. We always had 1-6, always. He was the captain, he was the brains and the glue. We always had kind of an 8, and this one was Janssen. What a player, left foot. So he was an 8, kind of up and down, great passer of the ball. So we had a sitter, a passer, and we had a 10. It'll come to me. We had a 10, and we had Blas Kufo, centre, big striker. We had 2 wingers who were wingers, Arnautovic and Elia. And they always picked quick wing. That was it. That was the structure. So whenever you went, well, we're going to buy a right back. Well, it's got to be an attacking right back. Wingers were the be all.
I remember Elia. He was rapid.
Rapid, really quick. And then, so one was a winger,
Yeah.
and the other one was a winger come inside.
Yeah.
So like Arnautovic was given license to do that. And we had Ronnie Stam here, who just went over. So basically, we built with a 3. We had a 1, and we had kind of 3 10s, or 2 10s and 2 strikers in terms of that. So that was kind of developed on.
It's very interesting. You've got it set up right now on the board. There's the diamond, the free back with a diamond in the midfield, which is obviously a very Dutch thing. It was Cruyff with the diamond in the centre, and I remember, I think Ten Hag played it when he was at United second time round. I think once, maybe twice in Europe. And it's very interesting you've put that up because, yeah, it's one of my favourite shapes. When it works, it works. It can work. And obviously the Ajax team who did it was incredible. But yeah, that is very interesting that you've got it set up, with one sitter.
Yeah, definitely always a 6,
Yeah.
1, and sometimes we're like a double 6, but runner and a definite 10, and him coming inside and him being at the focal point and having 2 wide men who could do that.
Yeah.
And were rapid. The balance was great, and I never scouted. So, we need to buy next year. And they would get the players that would fit the system. So it was just them educating me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with Erik, he kind of did everything, and I was the manager. So it was good for me because I sat back and I was the, and I asked, why did you pick me to be the manager? Because we need somebody.
A leader.
We need somebody at the top and you've just been England manager, so everybody, in Europe it was respected. Probably not in here it was, but in Europe it was respected. So they gave me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And how much did that shape your education at that point? Was that a massive turning point?
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
So I think it's so interesting you use words like rest defence and double 6, and because they're very traditionally Dutch words, like Ten Hag, rest defence, all the time. And I think it's just really interesting how you've obviously picked up them phrases, them learnings from Netherlands. And yeah, it's just mental to me how big the education shift was between the two.
I think on what's changed.
Yeah.
From before to coming back to United and working with Erik, obviously, in the middle working with Erik also, and having that, the key rest defence. What's rest defence? What's rest defence? And centre backs and being compact and counter press, things like that. Oh wow, And then the second time, now we're into half spaces, central spaces,
5
wide
lanes.
areas, 5 lanes, 5 lanes, build up with 5 lanes, make sure we rest with 3 lanes. And for me, it's the language that changes, so it's understanding the language. And so, I remember wherever you go in, you have to, this is our language that we've got. So it was totally different, and we had captain. We could pull the captain in and say, and everything was about possession and build up and how to counter that. So all coaches were solving problems.
How do we break a block? How do we build out? How do we press?
It was, and the captain, I'd say, oh, we're going to do that then on Saturday. He'd go, well, we do that, and we do that. We get a train, so he stops him. The weakest centre back has the ball, and he goes.
Let him,
And then they have a 6, so the 10 goes, the 8 goes to the 6, and they'll have a spare one here in midfield. They always had a spare one, so the 6 goes into there, and they have a 10, and one centre back must go on to the 10, and then he must be. So they called it a train through the middle.
To follow up the press.
So these were man to man, wide players and fullbacks. Stay with your man. Stay with your man.
Follow him to the 6-yard box.
Follow him back here. Follow him back there. And we had like Arnautovic. Asking Arnautovic to follow. Anyway, so so he made it simple that we made a train through the middle,
And that looks petrifying, doesn't it, on the board?
I went, wow, really?
It's like one ball's lost there.
Exactly. Through that middle, but you had to time it right. And we practiced that all day. And the key was going one-on-one, basically, all over the park. But we always picked on the weak defender.
Yeah.
So either side would be like that. And it was bold because centre-back had to go in. And rest defence was similar, whereas normally two centre-backs would be back here. Centre-backs could be in there to counter-press. So it was an education in terms of that.
Do you know when you're going from club to club, and obviously we were talking about Varane before in terms of he defends, obviously he's boxed very well. When you went back to United in the second time, and obviously I knew the idea was to high press all the time. Was there an element of, okay, we can high press in certain moments, but we have currently got a lot of players who suit this style of football, which is a little bit more sitting, Rashford, in behind, direct runs. Was there a thought that, okay, let's just step back a little minute, change what we're doing here, let's go a little bit more reserved, and that'll get the best out of Rashford in behind, Varane heading the ball, stuff like that. Casemiro, of course, as well, in the middle.
That was always the contention. That was always the tension in the place, and wanting to do that. And the Newcastle Wembley is a perfect example of that, where we'd done this and we'd done that and we'd done the other, and I couldn't believe it. David here kicked every ball long.
Yeah.
and we're there going, he's kicking every ball long.
Yeah.
And you know and the key is there was so much also intelligence in that team and experience in that team, and we had the structure, and it could work, but it didn't work consistently. We had to have something that worked consistently. So we'd always work on high press, and they build like this, so we do that. And all of a sudden you come to a Saturday and they build another way. And you think, they can't adjust to that. Or they can't do it consistently. So we can do it for 20 minutes, but we can't do it consistently. And it's a bit, to teach Rashford that, Garnacho that, especially the wide players, to be able to do that. And that was the difficulty, I think, we always had, was getting them wide players whose strength was wide, get the ball, transition, to actually be the ones who took in consistently all the time to help that midfield and dominate central areas.
Yeah.
So it was always, don't let them come through the middle, make them go out wide. So don't allow that. So that was a good example where the players also took responsibility in terms of, Varane, Casemiro, Bruno, top players who knew the game as well, and knew how to win. But that was always the dilemma, was getting the balance of, we had the players, just getting balance of getting the players to actually do that job consistently over 90 minutes.
And every couple of days, really, because obviously you're in Europe. I think we actually played that first season at 22-23 more games than anyone else in Europe's top 5 leagues. I remember seeing that. And then the FA Cup final against Manchester City, where we won 2-1. It's probably one of the most enjoyable games I've had as a United fan watching, because I think having Garnacho and Kobe both score in that game is incredible for Manchester United, everything we stand for, but also the plan for that game, where it was 4-4-2, Bruno, McTominay up front. And I thought, it's quite funny, I did a piece on the Overlap saying, this is what I think United should do. And I remember we played a diamond against City early on in the season, and it worked really well. And I thought, I think we'll do this again. And it was, watching it unfold was brilliant. Some of the work, playing 2 centre forwards, but not really playing anyone down the middle, letting Rashford and Garnacho high and wide. I thought it was one of them plans where it's not easy to get one over on Guardiola, especially in a final. But that plan was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we've talked about it, and yeah, it really was a great plan, and it really was a great plan in the making. And Erik takes great credit in terms of, for instance, every Thursday our analysts would sit down and go through the opponent, and it would be probably an hour. And we'd ask questions, and Erik would, and things. And from that, Erik would kind of formulate the game plan and present that on to us on Friday, and then we'd go through it on Friday before we played. So we had this meeting. Analysts, a couple of analysts were in there. It was Tom, Paul Brand, and then the coaching staff. And we're going through City, and we're looking, and it was, if you could film it, it would have been magnificent. And it lasted about 4 or 5 hours. 4 or 5 hours we went through, and I've got to say, Erik deserves credit for it because it was different. And we weren't in the best of form. No. At that time. Coventry were very lucky. Crystal Palace was a disaster. So we weren't in the best. So we had to do something, and something different. And credit to Erik taking that on board. Yeah. So a good 4 or 5 hours with that game plan to basically shore up the middle, Kobe around De Bruyne, making sure, I think left side, they, Guardiola.
Guardiola, yeah.
On the left back.
Big lad can run with it.
Yeah, but we felt wasn't really a threat. I think they played Foden again on the left.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like Doku or a winger. Yeah. Though Dalot can deal with that anyway, but we could kind of leave that open. Yeah. So if anybody would have the ball, we kind of said Guardiola can have the ball, and then we all shuffle over. The right side can't have the ball. So I think it was like Walker who bombed on, but De Bruyne in that always give us problem in that space, and Kobe Mainoo did a great job, not just in terms of stopping him, but running off him as well. And it was a transition game that we played, and the boy Stones going into midfield, which is why it was basically a 4-2-2-2, very, very narrow wingers, but Scott and Bruno doing a great job, and I say to Paul Brand and I say to Erik, you should keep that, really go through, make a film video of it, because it was a great plan. And I always thought after Coventry, and I always thought we'd win the cup anyway. Yeah. Somehow. It just, football gods.
Manchester United, yeah.
It's just football gods, the way it's going. And so it happened. We scored on transitions, didn't we, with people running off.
Beautiful
so it was
goals.
It was a great plan, and Erik deserves great credit, and the rest, and the analyst team as well, led by Paul Brand, who kind of worked together and evolved on that, and we knew that. I went, wow, yeah, that's good.
Well, there's not a better place to wrap it up on that, honestly. Absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best conversations I've ever had, that, in terms of football, especially when you started going on the board. So, yeah, absolute pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Amazing, okay. Amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was wicked, that. Honestly, amazing. Yeah. Do you know what? When he started touching, I was like, yes.